Hi everyone, and welcome to my next video tutorial, which is going to be focused on managing and serving image uploads by utilizing a very helpful uploader widget. As you can see here, what you'll be able to do is to drag and drop any images that you so desire within your Django application. So you can also see you'll have a preview when you upload that said image, and also when you go ahead to open it up again, you'll be able to do so. You'll also be able to click on that particular image to see where it is currently stored, and also to go on ahead and download it. So that's what we're going to be learning in this video tutorial. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, as always, make sure that you have the basics. So you have a Django project to which you want to apply this to, and that you also have a Django app. As you can see, I also have one also set up and ready to go, because we are going to create a model effectively. So make sure you've got that into place. Right, now the first thing that I would like us to do is to go on ahead and set up our media directory. So our media root and our media URL, and then we also want to ensure that we have set up our URL pattern so that we can point to the location of said uploaded image within our Django project. So that's going to be the standard that we need to focus on first. So let's go ahead and get that started and out of the way first. So what you're going to want to do is to head on over to your settings.py file of your Django project. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just remove the comments, and let's go ahead and scroll down. So you can go ahead and add in the logic we're about to in any place of your settings.py file. So I'm just going to do it down here. So first you want to go ahead and specify your media root. So you're going to say media root equals, and that's going to be base_dir / and we're going to call this images, because we want all of our images to be stored in an images folder. Now, there's something I want to mention. So typically you would go to your base directory, and our base directory is here within our main Django projects directory. So my Django project is called Elevate, and in here is essentially my Django app, the nested project directory, my SQLite database, my manage.py file, and everything in here is part of the base directory. So essentially we're telling Django to go on ahead and set the media root, which is where essentially our images is going to be stored. So we're saying look in the base directory for an images folder and store all the uploaded images in the images folder. Now you can see here we don't have an images folder. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to automatically let Django create an images folder for me. So once that gets created the first time I actually upload an image, it's then going to already have that folder in place. So you don't run into an issue of duplicate, should I say, folder directories. Because the issue that's going to happen is this. If you set the base directory to images and you create an images folder, what's going to happen is you're going to run into a situation where you're going to have the folder duplicated twice. Okay, so this is a risk that can come up. So we're not going to do this for now, but Django knows when it's going to expect an image upload, it's going to look for an images folder, and if it's not there, it's going to create one. Now, it's always better to rather let it create one so that you have a very clean sort of structure. Okay, and I'll highlight this later on in the lecture. Okay, so let's continue. Then we need that URL. So where are we going to be able to access that particular image in the root of the images folder? So you're going to want to add, shall I say, media_URL, and then you want to say equals, and this is going to simply be, let's say, images /. Okay, you can decide if you want to change this. It's really up to you. It's up to you what you want to set this as. You can change this to something else, but I'm going to suggest that you just leave it as is. Right, so that's all you need for that. Next, you want to go into your project directory here. So in Elevate, you want to open then your urls.py file, which is situated adjacent to your settings.py file, and we can open that up. Then you want to make sure, of course, that you have gone ahead and added in the include function, that you've imported it from Django.urls. So that's the first thing you want to make sure that you have in your urls.py file. After which, we want to go on ahead and import our static function so that we can create the necessary URL for serving our images. So to include that static function, you need to import it from django.conf.urls.static, and then you want to say import static. Next, you want to import settings. So you want to say from django.conf import settings. And the reason that you want to import settings is so that you can utilize this media root and this media URL variable. So we're essentially importing the settings.py file so that we'll have access to any of the variables here that we choose to utilize. All right. Great. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to go on ahead and create a unique URL path for accessing your images. So what I'd recommend you do is here outside of your URL patterns list here, outside this last closing square bracket, you want to add in a plus and use that static function that you've imported. And there what we're going to do is we're going to specify two parameters. So the first is going to be our media URL, which essentially is where we're going to be able to access our images at. So you want to say settings.media_URL. So as you can see here, we're importing the media file and the settings.py file, and we're saying dot here so that we can specifically look in the settings.py file and grab the media_URL variable from the settings.py file. After which you want to then go ahead and specify the media root. So to do so, you need to say document_root equals settings.media_root. All right, so .media root, of course, comes from our settings.py file as well, and we're just referencing this variable together. So essentially, we're going to bridge the connection between our media URL and the media root to create a unique URL, which is going to be used for accessing and serving our image uploads. All right. So you want to make sure you have that set up and into place. So that is the fundamentals that you need to have in place. All right. Perfect. Now, the next thing that we can go on ahead and do is to create our model. So let's create a normal model that's going to be focused on uploading a profile picture as an example. So what we can do is we can close these files. So make sure you've added in everything I've shown here. So actually, I'm going to just open a new file. That will be easier. So I'm going to go into my Django app, which is CRM, and I want to go to my models.py file, and I'm going to open that up. And we can actually close this, and let's open up our admin.py file as well. Okay, so in our models.py file, we want to create a basic model that's going to have an image field. So it's just going to have a regular image field. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a new model. So let's do that. So I'm going to create a model called class, and the class name will be profile. And then of course, in order to create our own custom model, we need to inherit from the models.model class. After which we want to specify our attribute. So I'm going to have an attribute for the name of a person. So I'm going to say person_name equals, and I'm going to set that as a char field. So I'm going to say models.char field. And the max length of characters that can pertain to that char field, let's set that to 200. And then I want to set a basic image field. So I'm going to say profile_picture equals models.image field, and that's all that we need to do. So that's all you need to make use of the basic functionality that I'm going to be showing you now. And then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and make your migrations for this model that has been created. So just take a good look, take a few seconds to add in this particular model, or you can use your own model and just change the attributes that you have there to something that you prefer. All right. And then what you can do is you can just go ahead and make those migrations. So you can say Python manage.py, and I'm just going to make this a bit wider. Make migrations. Okay, so our model was created. Let's go ahead and push this to our database. So you can say Python manage.py migrate. And there we go, that's going to push that to our database now. And there we go, it's been created, perfect. Right, so let's just go ahead and register this model. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to your admin.py file. And since it's in the same directory, you can just say from.models import, and you can say profile. Then what you want to do then is you want to say admin.site.register, and you want to say profile. Great. So we've registered that model. Let's go ahead and create a super user, go to the Django admin and see what we have and how everything works as of this moment. So next what I want to do is I want to go ahead and say python manage.py, and you want to go ahead and say create super user. Okay, and I'm just going to send it to skip, add in a password. Run your server. There we go, our server is running. Now let's head on over to our Django admin. So it's going to be at the following, so localhost /admin. And then you want to enter in your credentials. All right, so once you've entered in your credentials, you can go ahead and log into the Django admin. Right, so now we can see under our Django app, our profile model. So we can click on that, go to add profile, and here you can see you can add in the person name and the profile picture. So I'm just going to show you the standard process now for that whole image upload process, and to see that you'll be able to access it. So what I'm going to do is just add in some data. So I'm just going to say John Smith, choose the file, and choose the person. Save. That object was created. We can click on that object. We can see that particular object there. We can right click, open that in a new tab. You can see how it's accessed in an image folder, images folder, and it's known as profile picture _3.jpg. Let's go to our application. We can just go to Explorer. And you can see here an images folder was created for us, and we can see our profile picture. So that's the benefit there of not explicitly setting the folder itself, but rather to let Django create it for you, because it's going to nest it nicely in one shot. So that is a really helpful benefit, I feel, because it can get very annoying and difficult when you have a situation when you have nested folders. You want it to be clean and organized. It's okay to, of course, have nested folders as long as it's very structured and manageable. But anyway, that's what we have for now. So now I'm going to show you how this whole process is going to be working with a clean way of utilizing a image uploader widget. Now there are many ways that you can integrate this, okay, but I'm just going to show you a straightforward way in which you can go ahead and set this up. Now before we continue with this process, what I want us to do is to, of course, go on ahead and just delete this object. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that particular object. There we go, and I'm also going to delete this images folder. It will be recreated when we start the process again. So let's delete that. Okay, there we go. And I'd recommend you just keep your admin.py file open for now, and that you also open up your settings.py file, because we need to go ahead and set up an installation for a particular library. So just keep those files open. Right, so we've got that object deleted. Make sure you've deleted it. And now we want to go ahead and start the process of using this image uploader widget. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, there are many ways in which you can integrate this particular library. So you can do it with the Django admin by utilizing the image uploader widget. So that's essentially a sort of class that's going to implement a custom widget for uploading a single image, and it's going to, of course, use particular overrides in the model admin class. So this is a simple way in which we're going to go ahead and do it to basically understand the whole idea of this widget uploader. Now, of course, you can go into much more detail and use a model form. You can use a custom inline admin, and of course, you can go ahead and use various other options such as array fields. And as you can see here, you can see some samples of how everything goes into place, depending on what you decide to do. If you want to go ahead and put everything in a particular order, if you want to move images around, if you want to adjust it, if you want to maximize them, it's really up to you as to what you want to do and what is your given use case. But just keep in mind here, you can of course see the documentation, which is listed here on the further complexities of what you can do and what you can add and what you can set into place. All right, so I just wanted to make that clear. But before we can use this library, we need to install it, and it's very simple. All we need to do is install the package in our virtual environment and add the image uploader widget app to our list of installed apps. So let's do that. So we can go ahead and stop our server and install this particular library. Okay, so it might just take a moment. All right, so let's just give it some time. There we go. So that's been set up. Now what we need to do is add image uploader widget to our list of installed apps, like such. So in settings.py, let's go to our list of installed apps. And there you go, it's added. Now I'd recommend what you do is just go ahead and run your server, just to make sure there aren't any conflictions or any migrations that you would need to make. And there you go, we are all set and ready to go. Perfect, so we've got that in place. So you've set it up. Now with the usage, we can go to our admin.py file. So you'll want to go to your admin.py file, and what we're going to do is register our profile model in a different way. So you can remove the functionality that you have here for now. And the first thing we need to do is we need to make use of our models class. So we're going to have to go ahead and copy the following line and add it right here in our admin.py file. So from django.db, we want to import our models class. Then what we want to do is we want to import the image uploader widget from our image uploader widget app.widgets file. So we can go ahead and add in the following line as well. Okay, so make sure you have that in place as well. I'm just going to list it, and that you've, of course, from earlier imported the profile model that you want to use, which we've done. And then we're going to register our class in this manner. So essentially what you want to do is you want to create a decorator and then say admin.register, and then you want to put your model in your particular, how can I say, in the parentheses. All right, and that's another way of registering your admin, how can I say, your Django models. Okay, now I do actually, ironically enough, have a Django admin mastery course which I've just recently released. Of course, I will add a little bit of a short minute video at the end of the tutorial. If you are interested, of course, you can stay to the end and just see a little bit more information about it, about getting a discount coupon and all on that. But anyway, let me not get distracted. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and add this to your admin.py file. I will explain it. So we can add in this logic to our admin.py file. And what you want to do is you want to first register your model. So this is just a way of registering your model by using a decorator. So admin.register, and then you want to put in your model. Then we are creating a custom class here to go ahead and access our Django model in the Django admin. So what you want to do is you just want to you can keep that name as is, so that's your Django model admin. So I'm going to actually set this to my profile admin. And then of course we're going to inherit the base class here, admin.model_admin, to create this base class. And then you want to see that we are keeping this form field override logic in place here. Essentially what is happening here is it is basically telling our Django admin to say, I want to replace the default image field data type that's included in any model of any class, even if that is pertaining to this profile model. I want to ensure that I replace this model.image field, or replace it with this image uploader widget, which is what we saw down here, this sort of widget that we're replacing it. So we're kind of improving or modifying it just to be a bit more concise. So that is what this form field override is essentially doing. So we are just making sure that we are overriding the default image field here with the image uploader widget by setting up an override, and this is going to be applied to specifically this profile model that we have defined in this derived class that we have set up. All right, so that's all that you want to do, and what you can do then, of course, is just rerun your server for clarity. Okay, and you can go ahead and head on to your Django admin, I'd recommend just refreshing the page, go back to your profile model, say add profile, and there you go. You can now see we have an interactive sort of widget here in place where you can drop your image here or click to select one. So let me show you, of course, the fancier function. So we can just minimize what we have here. And let's just, let me minimize everything here. And I have a few images here on my desktop. So what we can do is go ahead and just keep Django admin open here. And let's just add in a name first. Let's say John Doe. And we can select a profile image here. So drag and drop, and you can see it's got some nice interactivity. And there we have it. We have that particular profile picture. We can even see the thumbnail of that particular user. Of course, we can magnify it to see the user in a bigger layout. We can close it. And then if you're happy with it, you can save that. And there we go. It's been saved. You can click on that object again. And here we have that object in place. And of course, you can click on it. And of course, that's going to open up to your desktop. And you can also right click on this, open this image in a new tab. And here we can see where that particular image is being served from. So of course, again, if you right click and open the image in a new tab, you're going to see where that image is, of course, being served from. You can see that directory, so images, profile picture 2. And as you'll notice, if we go to our Explorer in our Django application here, we can see that that images folder was created for us, and there is that profile picture.jpg set, and we can see it's served from images and profile picture 2. So that's exactly where it's being served from. So as you can see, it's all integrated nicely and in a very clean sort of fashion for us to go on ahead and check. Of course, what you can also do is once you have gone ahead and clicked on the image, there are a few more things you can also go ahead and integrate. So if you click on that image and you go to your desktop, of course, you have the opportunity to replace that particular image. So let's set it to this user and say open, and that's going to replace it easy like that. That's how you would replace that particular image. You click on the image and it's going to replace for you, and you can save it. Go back to your object and there it is. And of course, let's say you want to download that image the simple way, right click, save image as. Let's go to the location and let's just set it to something else. Let's say downloaded picture. There you go. It has gone ahead and downloaded that particular picture to your desktop. Now let's verify that. Minimize everything and we should see it downloaded picture. There it is, set up and done for us. Okay, so you can see you can go ahead and add in all the basic functionalities as we can see here. So that's just a little bit of an overview in this particular widget which you can utilize. Now, like I said, you can of course experiment this and you can go ahead and utilize array fields. You can use in the custom inline model. And the most important one is to use the model form here, which of course is going to be a little bit more value if you plan to take this further in your projects and of course to go more complex. But of course, I'd recommend that you go on ahead and look at the documentation to get a further understanding of how you can implement this. Alright guys, so that's it for this video tutorial. I hope that you liked it, and of course, thank you always for the support, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye. Hi everyone. So just something that I want to quickly mention is that I have recently gone ahead and published my latest Django Admin Mastery course, which is now available at cloudwithdjango.com/courses. So if you are to head on to this webpage here and scroll down, you can see here that I have my Django Admin Mastery course here available, and you can claim it at least for 25% off on Udemy. I will be sure to also attach a direct link which is included in this button in the description below this video. So if you don't want to go to the website and go through all of this, you can just click on the link below in the video and it will take you directly to that course link that is embedded within this button. Alright guys, so that's all that I wanted to mention, something very short and to the point. So if that is of interest to any of you, you're more than welcome to go ahead and check it out. So that's all, and thank you again.